Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions / Gacha gaming video. What we're going to do today is take a look at June earnings for every gacha game that I care about. Now, you're going to see a lot of other games on there. I might mention some of them, but really what I'm interested in is War of the Visions continuing to hang in there financially. That's obviously very important for me and a lot of the people that watch this channel. Also, Honkai Star Rail, a game I just keep coming back to. You're going to see some big numbers on there. Wuthering Waves, is it falling off? And then, how are the other big hitters, the other Square Enix games, stuff like that doing? Let's go take a look. So here's our numbers. Now, the first thing you're going to see right off the top is Honkai Star Rail in China. I do want to mention this data is only for mobile purchases. So games like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact that have a PC client, money spent on the PC client is not reflected in here. So these games, especially your Honkai Star Rail's a game, your Wuthering Worlds of the world, their number's actually a lot higher than this. This is only mobile spending. Still, it will give us an idea of what's making the most money. Is it making more or less than last month? So there's still a lot of good stuff to see here. Also, Gacha Gamer released a tweet earlier today saying that the sensor tower data, there was bugs in the middle of June or something. So some of these numbers are going to be lower than what they otherwise were. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when you see these June numbers, just know that they're actually higher than what this is based on probably some missed data in June on Sensor Tower and the fact that games with PC clients, that money's not represented. So first of all, Honkai Star Rail at the top, 60.5 million made in just China. And then the global version of the game made another 32.2, putting it up near $100 million and making it the #1 grossing gacha game in the world. And it absolutely, that makes 1,000,000% sense. I will say, I want to make a point to differentiate between my favorite gacha game and what I consider the best gacha game. My favorite gacha game is War of the Visions. The way content is released in that game, the way there is PvP in that game, just everything about that game, it has been my favorite gacha game that I've ever played. However, I do recognize that I think Honkai Star Rail is the best gacha game ever made. And it's funny because when it came out, people were like, wait, turn-based PvP? That's never gonna work. What is this, 1995? Yeah, it turns out y'all were wrong. Anybody who said that, it didn't age very well as Honkai Star Rail continues to just dominate up here, and I don't see that going anywhere. Now, Genshin Impact China is in second. It made 38.5 million there. Global Genshin Impact was at 28 million. So did Genshin fall off a little bit? I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's still dominating within the scene. And then Wuthering Waves. So here's Wuthering Waves Global. Now, I played Wuthering Waves a lot when it came out. I expected it to have a bigger June than it did a May, and it did, much bigger, $29 million. However, Zenless Zone Zero comes out in 2 days. I think Zenless Zone Zero is going to cut into Wuthering Waves a little bit here, and it's a Hoyoverse game. Let's go through this list. Hoyoverse. Hey, not Hoyoverse. Hoyoverse, Naruto Mobile. So of the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things on this list, 4 of them are Hoyoverse, and then Wuthering Waves in 4th place is the only non-one. Anybody who thinks Endless Zone Zero is not going to do well, that it's not going to be up here, especially in July and August, among the top 5, I think they're crazy. And I think it will cut into Wuthering Waves a little bit. Still, Wuthering Waves, for just being I feel like it's kind of a random game, just jumping on the scene, it's doing great. The development team out there is doing great. Personally, I don't know if I'm going to keep playing it or not. We'll talk about more of that later. So there's its number. Now, what about other games that we're playing on this channel? Let's scroll down. Here's an interesting one. I'm not actually playing this. Uma Musume Pretty Derby. Guys, when I was in Japan, everybody plays this game. I know right here, it only made only made $13 million. I guess, according to what my sister said, who does play, you get a lot of free pulls in this game. It was celebrating a bit of an anniversary. That's probably why it went from 10 to 13 million. Everybody plays this freaking game. I was on the train, people playing Uma Musume Pretty Derby all over the place in Japan. Like, I know it's not up here super high on this list, like Puzzle and Dragons. I don't know if I ever saw that. Monster Strike. There's a couple games made in Japan that made more than this, but this game is getting a global launch fairly soon. I'm just telling you, it's all over Japan. I don't expect global Uma Musume to be up here with the Hoyo big hitters, but I do expect it to do okay in America. So something to keep your eye on there. Let's continue to scroll down here. AFK Journey down to 7 million. This is a game that I believe I will drop for now. Something about, like, it's an idle game that just required me to do too much. Like when you talk about your Honkai Star Rails, or even War of the Visions of the world. Like, there's always something I need to farm in War of the Visions. I can just set that up, have it farm it for me. Hoyoge or Honkai Star Rail, I can do my dailies in Honkai Star Rail in like 5 minutes. I have a lot more things I can do if I want to, or it could be done in 5 minutes. I just never felt like AFK Journey got to that point for me. And when I pulled Soren, that was a bit of a sore point. Anyway, it dropped off to 7 million. That's still pretty good. It's a good game. Like, AFK Journey is a really good game. I expect it to not fall off much harder than this for a while, but they need to release some really interesting characters. And I feel like you can't put A ranks on a S rank banner, if you know what I mean. Okay, anyway, so there's that one. It made 7 million. Let's see here. Let's continue to scroll down. What else? Where's the next thing that I play? We're going to find some of our Square Enix games here in a minute. So this one's interesting. Persona 5 Phantom X. It's in China only right now. Only made 1.9 million. I don't know if that's a killer right there. Like, I don't know if that means that it's going to, like, this is a game that was on my radar for a global launch, but I don't know. It's not crushing it over in China. Okay, continuing down. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Wearing that shirt right now. A game that I will, like, revisit from time to time. It made 1.5 million. It's 2 months in a row at 1.5 million, so it's hanging in there. If a gacha game's making over $1 million, I feel like it's not in the danger zone of, like, you know, end of service or something like that. So there's Ever Crisis. Let's see here, continuing down. Where is our, there's Ever Crisis Global at 800K. So the Ever Crisis that we saw right here, this was JP Ever Crisis 1.5 plus the global 800K, putting it at what, 2.3 million. So not bad there. Now let's keep going. Final Fantasy War of the Visions JP down from 1.4 million, which would have been its Final Fantasy VII Advent Children collab month, to 800,000. So a big drop off right there for FFBE War of the Visions JP. And then here's War of the Visions Global that maintained at 700,000. Now this is interesting because this 700,000 for us in June was our Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. That's a little troubling, honestly, that, like, with an FF7 collab, it still only made this much. Now, maybe this means that there's just, like, those of us that still play this game just still play this game. And, like, when you give us something, we're going to spend for it. And maybe we just live in this 500K to 800K range for all the... Wait, where was I? Hold on. Where'd it go? That was, yeah, I was hovering over Dolphin Wave, whatever the hell Dolphin Wave is. Here it is. It's the same numbers, though. Maybe that just means, like, this is what the player base for global is spending right now. If we can maintain that, we're fine. But I do, I don't know. It's year 4, and I still say, I think it's time for, like, FFBE 2 or something like that. Like, give us something else in the Brave Exvius universe. There's still a ton of players for these games. I think we're just waiting for the next big thing. And I think it could come. I think it could come soon. I have no inside info on that, but I got a feeling, you guys. So speaking of that, here's Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, like the original FFBE. The JP game made $600,000, so it's still doing fine. Again, there are players for Brave Exvius World games in Final Fantasy. FFBE Global, where's that hanging out at? Probably way less, at 140K. So the global version of FFBE down to 140K. I do like to look at that because it is a game that, even though I've never played, it's a game I care about. Even if it's not the predecessor to War of the Visions, it is the game that I think created the Brave Exvius universe. So I'm telling you, man, I just think you make a turn-based combat new Final Fantasy Brave Exvius game where you take some of the like lore of War of the Visions, the lore of Brave Exvius, make a new game. However you got to do that, I just would love to see it. I would love to see it. So anyway, there's the games that I care about on here. Honkai Star Rail, man, I'm telling you, it's quality. It's quality, and the quality in that game just keeps shining through in money. If I was a mobile game developer, I would take a long, hard look at exactly what Honkai Star Rail is doing and then try to add my own twist if I was making a game. So there it is, guys. There's the games I care about. There's what they're doing money-wise, and just a few thoughts I have on it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.